Just this. Can't hardly see, but I have a brief couple of minutes. So I decided to go live on Facebook, and I will upload this on YouTube. I can't find my AirPods. It's a sunny day today, and so let me make this live because I haven't been live in a couple of days just because of my scheduling, and I'm busy. So I will upload this on YouTube. I'm live on Facebook again. One thing real quick about the coronavirus, right? $5 trillion drop in the stock market today. $5 trillion. $5 trillion. The biggest in history. You know, it always says like in the riddle song, children's song, Rockabye Baby, when the bow breaks, the cradle will fall, down will come the cradle and the baby and all. You know, the larger you inflate a balloon or a bubble, I'm trying to find my stylist, the harder it's going to fall. It's going to fall. And, you know, people have bragged on this economy for months and years, and the stock market, the highest ever. Now we've experienced the biggest crisis ever in history. And that's just a transfer of wealth to the banks. You know, options trading in the stock market often are the biggest losers. It's just in a position now that even if you're a day trader or a swing trader, you are losing, you know, percentage wise. And I really thought my predictions that if Bernie Sanders was the Democratic elect to run against our president, now currently President Trump, that this recession would hit late this year, December, early January 2021, because Bernie Sanders, right, is not Wall Street focused. But if he ran against Biden from the Democratic Party, then it would be the recession would be sooner than the election, because Biden is more Wall Street focused, right? A coronavirus hit left field. Didn't know that this was spread. This epidemic would take off, similar to the 1918 Spanish flu and what it did to the economy and the recession. And, you know, I had been forewarning people earlier this year, mainly, that this, I'm trying to see if I can get over, forewarning people that FICO 10 and the 20 to 40 point credit scores drop that will impact 1.4 million Americans were the early signs that this recession was about to hit, and it was going to be ugly. So now it's just not going to be a recession, right? It's going to be a global depression. So what do I mean by that? Global. Japan has just declared 5,000 more cases of the coronavirus. We know China, the number 2 economy, is affected right now, which affects the United States, who we are in debt to. One of the debt that we owe. The other one is the Federal Reserve. People don't know that. When they look at the U.S. debt clock, they're not aware that we're not only in debt to China, right? That we are in debt to the Federal Reserve. They think the Federal Reserve is government, and the Federal Reserve is not government. It's the only building next to the White House for a reason, right? It's rich and wealthy families. And let me explain this. In 1971, right, because I'm connected to the school systems, and I have this discussion with my co-workers today, actually, that want to discuss politics and, what's going on with the economy and Bernie Sanders. He won't win the Democratic against Trump, and frustrated that Biden is not winning the Democratic Party. And my words to them today, this morning, was it does not matter at this point who is the president. Number one, Trump is going to win. He's going to win again, like it or not. But it won't be a good spot on his presidency, because the biggest global depression that will ever occur in the United States is going to happen on his watch. Why do I say that? Number one, you're going to have the credit scores decrease crisis with the new FICO 10 that's rolling out. And it will roll out because the banks are trying to protect themselves from having astronomical amounts of unpaid debt, and protect themselves once this hit full bubble burst, going into this Great Depression. So the bankers trying to clear their debt and protect themselves. The FICO 10 will roll out, will be implemented. This is my prediction, my beliefs, my prophecy. And as I told the teachers, today I don't really understand why the school system, well, I do understand. I don't think they understand why the school system does not teach about taxes and credit and money. And they think, well, yeah, we teach a financial literacy class. They take, nah, that's not the real, that's not the truth. That's not the reality of how you're going to be successful financially in this economy. I'm not talking about that. I said, no, our financial literacy curriculum is pretty much only stating or only teaching that go to school, go to college, get a good job, and don't get into debt. That's about as far as it goes. And as far as it explains credit is that, credit is what happens when you make terms of loans to make a repayment to the banks. It's not broken down, the different areas of credit score, how it's calculated, the algorithm, nor is it taught that you can use your credit to borrow money from the banks to obtain assets. Nor is it taught about that when you buy a home, the difference between simple interest that's charged on credit cards and amortization interest that's charged when you take out a home loan, and how you are paying your mortgage is front loaded with interest rates, with interest only payments just about, and how you are paying a third of your mortgage loan, double the amount in interest. And so they don't know anything about velocity banking. And I've even heard of, because I'm from Mississippi, but I've even heard of the instances where if you live in Florida or Texas, for example, that the property taxes are so expensive on the home, or California, for example, so expensive on the property, that even paying off the mortgage and knowing how to apply and use velocity banking so you don't pay all of those interest rate fees on your mortgage, that people have paid off their homes free and clear, but the property taxes are so expensive, right, that over the long term of having a house, they end up paying more if they stay in there longer, more in property taxes than they do for the actual mortgage. So then you got, two different scenarios to look at. Do I rent for a lifetime and not even having the possibility of being free, mortgage free? Or do I learn velocity banking and how to pay off a mortgage in 5 to 10 years, right? And turn the banks against each other? And what are some ways where I'm not paying astronomical rates and property taxes, right? And then the discussion today was that, the myth that your tax money is going towards, building better schools, building better roads. Not your federal tax money is not. I told you where your federal tax money is going. Your state taxes handle that. So then what are ways or scenarios, right, to where you can minimize your federal taxes, your FICA that's coming out of your paycheck the legal way, that the middle class or those people living paycheck to paycheck don't understand? And another issue that I brought to the attention of my coworker today too is that, okay, you're saying that teachers should not complain about a pay raise. Teachers know that when they get into when they get in the profession, I think my internet connection might be low. Okay. But the statement was, and I'll probably just go live tonight because I don't know how this is going. For some reason, it's showing low internet connection, so I might just have to log off. But still showing it's recording. But, just a statement that teachers should not complain about the pay rate. You know what you're signing up for, just like firefighters and police officers, right? But it's a legitimate complaint when you're only getting about 1% to 4% of a pay increase, right, annually. But inflation is out producing your pay raise by 5%. So what is inflation, right? Inflation is when prices increase for goods and services. So if your paycheck or your pay raise is not beating inflation, then you're losing. And if you don't know how to keep more of the money that you're making through FICA and taxes, then you're losing. You are losing. If you don't know, yes, pay state taxes because that's what's improving. That's where the money goes to increase a pay raise, increase the roads, increase the school system, increase your state, whatever the case may be. But federal taxes is not doing any of that. It's coming out of your paycheck that you are taxed for your labor. And so now people are really understanding that the stock market was falsely producing returns anyway, because inside companies were pretty much buying their own stocks and making it seem valuable, right? The coronavirus, along with the credit scores decreasing, affecting 1.4 million Americans. Just nothing that you can do about that. Nothing that you can do. And another thing that I brought out to them, that a lot of people have so many student loan debts right now on their credit report, and they were not aware. They were not aware that in 2008, the Obama administration, that's why I'm saying no Democratic Party can save you. And I'm not just, Obama, the book was passed to him. Okay. The book was passed on to him from the Bush administration. I think I'm just going to wait till I get home. From the Bush administration. And now, if 2008, Obama administration changed all the student loans from private to federal. Means every student loan that you got out from 2008 from that administration has changed. And also, subprime lending was changed to non-prime lending. Same thing, different name. So now we're going to have the coronavirus impact, a global recession. More cases have been found in the United States. Right? Japan, Australia, Singapore, which seems to have their coronavirus pretty much under control. I don't know what they're doing. Spreading out more cases in the United States. California is put on a lockdown alert, right? Some cases found, people have no idea, no clue how they got infected. And then, like I said, like 1918 Spanish flu. And then people don't understand the difference between money and currency. They, just think that at some point, when more people are allowed to borrow that's not eligible to pay back, that this won't come to an end. They just think that the Federal Reserve can continue to print out paper currency, which is not money, which is not real money. And what do I mean by that? Okay, in 1971, President Nixon took the dollar, the printed money, off of the gold standard. With that being done, the dollar became backed by U.S. bonds, no longer backed by true physical gold. So that position to print more of it in quantities. So the more people that have access to debt, which is what the dollar is, it tells you on every printed paper that this note is a legal tender for all debts. So now that it's backed by U.S. bonds, what that do is forces you to work to pay for the money that you currently will get in the future. Let me say that again. When the dollar was taken off the gold standard in 1971, meaning that as long as it was backed by physical gold, only certain amount could be printed. After President Nixon took it off the gold standard in 1971, now more quantities of the paper currency can be printed. And now more digital debt can be created, meaning that when you get a mortgage, for example, or a vehicle, you don't get the paper money in that amount. It's put in by a digital transaction. And when that digital transaction is put in, this allows the Federal Reserve to print out more, right? So when that happens, you have more people who have more access to debt than ever before, which means more products have to be produced, and more products have to be produced, then the prices of the products and the labor have to be increased. And when prices increase and more debt is created, that's where your crisis comes. So now I have people that come to me with legitimate student loan debt report on their credit report because they know FICO 10 is coming. And FICO 10 is not going to look at your credit report snapshot over the previous 30 to 60 days like it is currently set up. They're going to look at your snapshot over the previous 2 years. And when it used to be that you could have student loan debt and that debt still not be considered against your debt ratio. So you can have student loan debt, for example, and still be qualified. It won't be looked at your debt to income ratio for a home loan in some cases. Some cases is not, depending on the amount. But now all the debt in your credit report, all the debt in your credit report is going to be calculated. And over the last 2 years, and it's going to examine how you're paying down your debts. And if you're not paying down all of your debts report on your credit report in a very low utilization manner, then you are going to be lowered your credit score by 20 to 40 points. And so I did a deep analyzation today about my pricing for credit, right? And because people have not been educated about credit, they think my credit consultation is similar to how a credit repair business works. And so some credit repair businesses that I will mention, this is irritating me because my phone won't stay adjusted because I don't have my wireless earpieces. I have this plug. But a credit repair business like Lexington Law, I'm trying to think of some more that I've seen. Lexington Law. I just say Lexington Law. That's kind of one of the most well-known. That you pay on a month-to-month subscription, or any credit repair services that you pay on a month-to-month subscription. What happens is, however long it takes to get a negative deleted is how long you pay. Well, my credit consultation doesn't work like that. You pay one time, and I continue to dispute negatives with you and for you until deletions occur. Meaning that it's one and done. I continue to consult you until results are just no longer reachable, ongoing. And I decided today I'm no longer going to do that for the prices that I've been doing it at. Because had you been with a credit repair business, you will continue to pay as long as the work is being continued. So beginning March 3rd, my pricing will reflect my ongoing work. And another thing that I was doing that's very, at no charge, that's very detrimental in increasing your credit score and helping you to get a better credit profile and look lending, to the banks, look like by your profile that you are a person that's a lendable person, was deletion of all addresses and names. Another service that I was offering, just, deletion of all personal identifiers, such as your name and all old addresses. Those are things that I was offering in my consulting at no charge. That will not happen any longer. You can go to some credit businesses and they charge anywhere from $125 or higher just for a deletion of your addresses and names. So this is just a public service announcement that my pricing is going to increase March 3rd for credit consultation, and it's going to be continued consultation until our desired results are provided. And it's going to reflect the deletion of the names and personal identifiers is going to reflect the work that I'm doing. Because again, when you're with a credit repair business, as long as they are working, you are paying. And that has not been my case. Now, I do want to say this, and I will do this when I'm in front, when I arrive, and I can do it from my more stable location where I'm not in my vehicle. I do want to say this as well. This is the process. When you invest $50 for me to give you a credit audit, I have my autoresponder set up to let you know I've received your email. Please allow 2 to 3 business days to receive your credit audit. So once you send me an email and submit a payment, you definitely want to check your spam or your junk folder, or both, spam or junk. Because I have people that will continuously, or they text me, find my phone number, email me, hey, I sent my payment. I promise you I get automated notification of any payments that I receive, whether that's through PayPal or through Cash App. And one-time fee, ongoing support, only for the items that I quote at that time. I'm not saying you pay one time and you get lifetime credit disputing for new instances. Also, some new changes that are occurring. You have 5 or less inquiries that need to be deleted. I will not take those small cases anymore. It's just not really worth my time invested to do small jobs like that. My inquiry removal pricing was at like $50 an inquiry for those consulting. Those prices will increase as well to $75 beginning March 3rd. And the ongoing support of disputing for a one-time payment where you're not being charged month to month is only for the accounts that's listed in the quote, not any new accounts, right? So, yeah, this is where we headed. And one thing, and I hate about this, but I'm driving, so it is what it is. I haven't went live and driven in a while. Another thing that I want people to be aware of, I have people that will sometimes message me and say, and inform me, I've been following you for months or years. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in live. You should have received a lot of free education and gain from me if you did, if you are. But that is no reason for me to give you a discount on my services. That is no reason for you to bombard my phone or email because you have followed me for years or months and you waited or you tried to dispute your own credit and you didn't get the results, or you went with another credit repair company and did not get the results. And now you are in an emergency situation and you want me to respond in an emergency way. That's not going to happen. If you followed me for months or years, you should pat yourself on the back. Oh, I hate this. You should pat yourself on the back because I give out a lot of time and a lot of free information. But that's not for me to give you any discounted services or put your file ahead of some paying clients, to get to your file within 24 hours or 48 hours. Because you're telling me, I don't mean any harm, but I have a lot of people that follow me. My YouTube subscribers are increasing. I went from 5,000 to about 7,000 in 3 months. I'm sorry about this. It's because of my earpiece. 5,000 to 7,000 in 3 months. So, I appreciate you investing in yourself to follow me and watch the education video and to drop the free game that I give. So yeah, it's coming. I've been forewarning, been telling you. I've been doing a lot of great work at very discounted pricing. But, as of today, that is over with for me. That is over with because, believe it or not, when you have the stress that you have about your credit score and financial situation, once you obtain my services, I take on that stress for you. And so if I'm taking on your stress, that's still stress whether I'm paid for it or not. It's still stress. And so, I tell people you're going to have to pay what you weigh. If you have a bankruptcy that I may have to challenge for 30 days or 8 months, and you were at risk of having that bankruptcy report on your credit report for 7 or 10 years, then you're going to have to pay to get that deletion. So I wish everybody well. I do have a month-to-month plan with a partnership business that I'm affiliated with. And we have partnership. And so, if working directly with me or under me for those fast results or faster results, I won't say their results are not fast, but I do know my results are faster. But if you need something more affordable, but just at a slower rate of deletion, then I have that option for you also. Very creditable company. But any company you pay month to month with is going to be a slower process of deletion. No credit repair business is in business to pay low monthly dues and to get fast results. They want to spread it out, and they want to have you to pay slow, and they work slow. So in life, you really pay for what you get. So the coronavirus, on top of student loan and automobile debt right now, is higher than credit card debt. Student loan and automobile debt, auto debt, vehicle debt is higher than credit card debt. So now where is Dave Ramsey philosophy and Susie Orman going to fit in for you? Where is the cut up your credit cards now? When you have high student loan and vehicle debt, and credit card is the third option. Where is the cut up your credit cards now, or put your money in a 401k when when the stock market has lost its biggest gains today, and their 401k won't even be enough during retirement because they wiped out in their gains and they're losing. They haven't even shifted their 401k to just a savings. Some people still have it in conservative stocks, investing. And it's going to take years to rebound off of that. Where is the cut up your credit cards, put your money in mutual funds and 401k going to get you, right? When the stock market has its biggest gain, it's going to put you behind for years. Where is that going to get you when you don't have any investing income, or when you don't know how to save less in taxes legally, and your credit score is plummeted? So that cheap money and Keith, I don't understand. Why do you say the coronavirus is a fear? It's not a fear, it's actual. These are actual records of the cases and people dying. And the stock market is not driving down. It's $5 trillion loss. It's not going to rebound. So what opportunity is it at this point? What opportunity is it to buy? If people are saying, oh, now's the best time to buy stocks cheap. You know how long it's going to take after this recession for the stock market to rebound again? This is not going to be like 2008 where it's just a pat on the back, where it just includes the housing market. This is going to be, number one, a global recession, which means we're going to see the effect that if the number two economy of China is affected, how it affects the United States, our import and export. Then you have Japan. Then you have Australia. So this is going to be a global recession. Other countries besides the United States. On top of that, you have the repo debt, the highest it's ever been, the repossession of vehicles. You have student loan debt, the highest it's ever been. And you have people that's in these non-prime mortgages, right, that just transferred over from 2008. They changed the name from subprime to non-prime, who bought houses, or no, who got houses financed, because houses was overpriced, and now they can't afford it, especially when their credit score is about to drop this summer by 20 points. And that's why banks are now selling loans to mortgage lenders. And although your rate terms can remain the same, right? What about these people that have these non-prime loans and adjustable rate mortgages? Again, like they did in 2008. And it's still going, they're not going to afford it. They're not going to be able to afford it. And now prices are going to have to increase because we can't get our import and export for the number two. It's no rebound. It's all downhill from here, because this is what I don't understand. And I was saying this in the education sector today. I don't understand how teachers can learn a subject area and be educated in that area, and they don't know that the economy always resets itself every 10 years. Why would you think that we was going to ride this inflated stock market for years and it would not come to a bust, to an end? We are actually 2 years overdue for economic reset. The economy, when you begin to give more people more debt, more loans, and print out more fiat currency, it always is going to come to this end. This fiat currency has been an issue way before the coronavirus even hit. Exactly. So that's why I'm saying the coronavirus is making it even worse. Just like I know you probably didn't see the first beginning of my video, just like in 1918 when the Spanish flu broke out. And it was a big epidemic effect on the economy, which led into the 1930s Great Depression. And so when people don't study the history of these things, then they, and I understand that, they may not be into studying this if we didn't get out the gold standard and not convert to currency in 1971, this wouldn't have happened. Well, we had to get out the gold standard because other countries were coming back and they didn't want, they were coming back to retrieve their gold that they had given to the United States. And the United States could not afford to give them their gold back. So they took it off the gold standard because they started realizing that it was just officially announced in 1971 that we would be off the gold standard by President Nixon. But it was in the 1930s when they took people real money and took their gold. Right? So they had already began taking printed money off of the gold standard and just giving paper printed fiat currency, or printed money saying it was backed by the gold standard. So this does have something to do with the coronavirus, with overinflated in debt. Right now it's vehicle repossession and student loan. Like I said, in 2008, the Obama administration made all private student loan debts federal, meaning that people were no longer getting student loans from banks. They're getting them right from the government, and you can't file them in bankruptcy, meaning that they're going with you until you pay them off. So now this new FICO 10 is going to charge people with high student loan debt. Where in previous years that was not calculated for people that was trying to be home buyers. Right? Now it's going to be calculated. Now you can't do AU trade lines. AU trade line means authorized users. When someone could add you as an authorized user on their credit cards, and you could benefit from that person's good credit history. Now that won't be the case because FICO 10 is changing all that. They're saying, look, because people do know that when you pay someone to add them on your credit card as an AU authorized user trade line, that's only going to be reported on your credit report 30 or 60 days. They're not going to keep you. That's not how the business is done on there for the lifetime. So you're going to get an artificial inflated credit score for 30 or 60 days. And even if you don't get negatives removed, that still won't help. It'll just boost your score. But for like mortgage loans, you still have collections, unpaid collections reporting and things like that. It still won't help. And the only thing a realtor tell you to do is to pay the collection to show that it's paid. But that still damages your credit score. So why not just get in all types of collections deleted? Why not use that money you owe the collection company to pay for example, my credit consultation and get it deleted? Right? Just get it deleted. But a realtor want to make a sale, and they advise people to get a mortgage, just pay it and do as agreed. And so what happened? Right, AU trade line is a joke. It was just an excuse for people not to work on their credit. Really was. And so now they're going to say, okay, you tried to become someone's authorized user for 30 or 60 days, right? And we're going to look at your 2-year credit score history. And we're going to see that you just artificially inflated or pump your credit score by being someone, right, authorized user. And because you did that, you're denied. You're denied. He said, I don't believe in AU trade lines. Honestly, well, to be honest, you know what? This is my belief and philosophy of how AU trade lines are supposed to be used. Like, for example, I have my daughter. I want my daughter to be able to benefit from my good credit history. And at the age of 18 or 19, I added her, looking for my stylist, I added her as an authorized user on my credit card. Not giving her the credit cards, but I just added her as an authorized user because I know she could benefit from my good credit history. Now, that's a scenario, a situation where AU trade line, in my opinion, is perfectly honest and legal and should be used. But when you pay a company and people give them their credit card information to add you on for 30 or 60 days, and you don't want to go through the process, and you don't want to make sure that you just, do what you got to do to invest to get your credit better, after you come to the realization that when I know better, I'm going to do better with my credit. After you come to the realization that if a debt collector cannot prove with your contract, with your signature, that they had a right to collect the debt from you that you don't legally owe. See, a lot of people get the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act laws confused. They will write, the credit agency said, I want to show me evidence, a signed contract with my signature, and that is not what 609, anywhere in 609 letter gives you legal rights to do. And so it gives you legal rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act to ask a debt collector where is their contractual agreement. Now, even if a debt collector, let me say it this way. A charge-off account is not a debt collector account. It is the balance that you owe them, the company, the business, that's written off for a loss so they can save in their taxes. But this is the kicker. When you owe that balances, these companies also have the right, American Express, Bank of America, on charge-off, to summons and take you to court for the debt. Because not all of them are going to write it off for a loss or tax deductions. And then send you a 1099. But then it happens either this way. That number one, you can get summons to court to pay the debt. Or two, you can get a 1099-C in the mail. And that amount that you did not pay out still has to be included in your income tax return as income added to you. So it's no escaping. But if you have a good tax strategist and professional, they can help you reduce that taxable income if you get a 1099-C in the mail. Keith says people's misunderstanding of assets and liabilities really mislead them to take on credit without knowledge. You're right, Keith. This. And then I have people that say, well, let people do what they want to with their money. They can. I'm not forcing you to take my advice. Just telling you, when you go out and purchase a brand new vehicle, it depreciates fast, and that's not good use of your money. I'm informing you that if you're paying a mortgage, whether it's a 15-year fix or a 30-year fix, and you don't know the difference between amortization interest of what they charge you on the mortgage versus simple interest of how it's charged on a credit card, you're going to pay back over thousands of dollars back on that loan. And if you don't know how to flip the script, that home now becomes a liability for you. So Keith says, by the way, I wasn't saying that the virus wasn't a problem or was a problem. It is a problem. I was just speaking about on the DOW itself. Okay. So, Keith, I just tell people, I told them the only person that can be elected for president that can save us from what we're going to come into with this crisis, the economy crash, is Jesus. He's the only person that can be elected for president that's going to save you. It's not going to be Biden. It's not going to be Sanders. Not even Trump. And this is going to fall on his presidency. He spent more money. He put more money into the wall and things like that than any other president now. I'm just saying. I know you all was raving when he was talking about the increases of the stock market, and I hope, the rich people have already started pulling their money out of the stock market. They knew the warning beforehand. I just feel bad for the middle class who have their 401k still in the stock market, and they did not, at least at the minimum, call their 401k and said, take all of my investment out of the stock market and switch me over to just a regular savings. I mean, that's the least you could have done. At least you wouldn't been losing money. And now you got the biggest crash and crisis. And most people are not going to have enough money for retirement. Because with this crash and what you lost, it's going to take more years to build that back up. More years. And then you got inflation. That by the time you get ready to pull that money out anyway, right, prices are going to increase. So with the big lump loss that you lost, is no, and like you said, Keith, okay, you're right, trust in the Lord. Not man, Keith, but you know what? It's so many biblical principles that we have not been following. So many people can quote scriptures, but they don't, like most Christians that quote 2 Timothy, the love of money is the root of all evil. If you knew, and this is what I don't understand. When I'm speaking financial empowerment to people, they say that's the love of money, of trying to tell people how to use the bank monies to get real assets, tangible things, silver, investing in real estate. They will call it the love of money, the root of all evil. But they won't look at slavery, which was evoked because of money and off the backs of free labor of Africans and Jewish, Hebrewic, black for years. They won't look at that as the root of all evil. They won't look at how the Federal Reserve and the stock market have stolen their money, how it was manipulated, how you never really win big on the stock market because they take everything, whether you're trading or you're in it for the long haul. You won't look at that as the root of all evil. You won't look at the rich and wealthy family, the Henry Fords. You won't study that. The J.P. Morgans, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. You won't study those families. See how they've been taking your tax dollars for years. Your tax money, your labor, out of every dollar you earn, because like we said, in 1971, the dollar was taken out the gold standard, which means the dollar is backed by U.S. bonds, and it have been since 1971. And now every dollar you earn today, you have to pay back in the future in form of taxes. FICA out of your paycheck. See, the reason why the government stopped accepting gold as real money, even though it's written in the Constitution that gold and silver is real money and not currency, is because they couldn't tax it. And the people in the 1930s that went through the Great Depression knew about central banks and the effects of central banks, and they would have never approved central banks. And they went behind the scenes and made it central banks and confiscated all the people gold. 1930s, no one knows what happened to those citizen gold. Made it illegal to even own gold. You have 10 years in prison or a $10,000 fine. And ever since then, printed out paper that was debt, removed it from the gold standard, backed by U.S. bonds, and make you pay 30 cents on the dollar in taxes out of it for your labor, your intellectual skills, your property. But the rich and wealthy understand the tax laws and how not to get 30 cents out of every dollar they earn, or 40 cents out of every dollar they earn, taken away from them to the Federal Reserve. So Keith says the Federal Reserve was a scam ever since. Yeah, Keith, and I know very little people know that. And they don't know that because it's not taught in schools. Even, and having a conversation with my public school teachers, they don't know. They just know their subject area. And I stated today, that's what Robert Kiyosaki calls fake teachers. When you're trying to teach something that you yourself have never done or can't or never do. And you can't teach financial literacy if you don't understand it and operate it in its truest form itself. If you don't know the history of money, if you can't define money versus currency, if you can't define how to use, how debt money is not even taxed, how to use your credit for that, how that money is not even taxed, how passive income is not taxed, as high as labor income. When you don't understand that, you can't teach it to the next generation. And just they're Carnegie, right? One of another persons that are families that are in the Federal Reserve. Dale Carnegie, stated what he wanted taught in the school systems to keep it this way. So metals couldn't be taxed. Makes sense. Yeah, no wonder they favor. Exactly, because they can be taxed. And speaking on metals, let's talk about silver, and I'm signing off. Just know that I do have a silver stacking report. Silver is going for about $18 to $20 an ounce now. Projected that once this dollar collapse, meaning that if we go through hyperinflation, like you said, Keith, then the dollar collapse, and it's going to be worthless, like every dollar paper currency has been. And then United States, we'll go to some type of digital currency. Then, Keith, then we also have cryptocurrency that's affecting the dollar in this recession. I didn't mention that. So just know that when you invest in silver, right, the most affordable kind, you need to invest in silver rounds if you want to get a better return on your money versus silver coins or bullions. And I have a silver stacking report for $25. My number 5th recommended silver coin, actually a coin, not a round, but I do have rounds listed as well, will give you a 300% return on your investment once this dollar fails. Lee Brown says, beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper. Right. But many people say, well, that was John speaking, it wasn't Jesus. Well, Jesus spoke to his disciples all the time. Right? Most of the New Testament is written by his apostles, Paul and his disciples. It's just how people just scrutinize the Bible. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Any scripture about prosperity, they'll find, if they have a poverty mindset, they'll find a negative notation to make about it. So what does it mean? I want you to prosper and be in health. Well, and a lot of people say, well, health is prosperity. It's a form of it. But if health and prosperity was the same, it would just say, beloved, I wish above all things that you be in health. If health and monetary prosperity, but no, it made a differential. It says prosperity and be in health, even as your soul. What is your soul? Your mind, your will, your emotions, your mentality, your spiritual soul, your emotional health, your mental health, your will being in alignment with God's will. Right? So Keith said, I'm investing in crypto. Don't see the dollar lasting for long. Keith, what type of crypto? I've been saying I'm going to sign off for a long time. But Keith got me on. What type of crypto are you investing in? And then I'll share with you some crypto that I'm investing in. I'm just sitting in my garage, but I have some things to do. I have to get out. So let me stay on for Keith to hear. And I have also uploaded on my YouTube channel how the Simpsons predicted about cryptocurrency. Keith, check this out, in 1997. So you all definitely want to go to my YouTube channel and check out that video I downloaded. In 1997, they talked about and used the word crypto. They also predicted that President Trump will win the election. Years ago, he will be the president and that this economy will crash on his watch. Right? So, waiting on Keith. Lee Brown said this is right. Prosperity is not limited to just monetary. Thank you. It's not limited to just monetary virus. So the question is, what are you going to do about your credit and about your cash flow? Are you going to use the cheapest form of debt to not go out and buy liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket, but to go out and get assets, things that put money into your pocket, that appreciate in value? Let me say that again. Assets are not only just things that put money in your pockets. The casino, if you're lucky, can put money into your pockets, but appreciate in value and can have you a high rate of return. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pockets and depreciate in value or lower in value. So Keith, I'm going to sign off. I do have some things I have to do. If you all didn't watch the full of this video, or if it was gaps between, then you definitely want to watch the beginning about updated of my credit consulting prices, so you can understand the difference between credit repair business and the credit consulting that I offer, and some of the free services that I was offering of deletion of personal identifiers, meaning your name and addresses, which not only helps your credit profile, but it helps get collections and charge off deleted at a faster rate. Not longer doing those services for free anymore. I am tired, just really tired, because I work with clients until the results are driven. And if you sign up with a credit repair business, when you're working with them until the results are provided, you're paying all at the same time. So my thing was just a one-time fee. Yeah, Keith. Yeah, Simpsons predicted crypto, 1997. Go to my, have a good day, Keith. Go to my website. Go to my YouTube channel. I uploaded that video. Simpsons predict crypto, 1997. So Keith has a mixture of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Oh, Ethereum, it's like $220 today, Keith. That's a great price to get it at. Ethereum, I think $220 when I last checked. I'm also looking to Ripple, XRP. This is me. I'm not giving financial advice. I have some investment in that, as well as Stellar, XLM, and some Chainlink as well. So that's where I'm at. Bitcoin is just, I think I'll get a better rate on return. I think Ethereum's going to do well. Maybe just not Bitcoin did, right? Bitcoin went from $3 a share to $12, then $300, then it just took off to $10,000. The highest is $19,000, and today it's about $8,000. So, yeah. All right, I'm signing off. You all have a great weekend, and I may be live within the next 3 days. Glad you tuned in. Let me get my nails and stuff out the way. I can't hit my phone.